Hello, everyone. Happy Garden Stroll Day. I have a little bit of viewer mail to read because we skipped that last week. Three things. So I want to catch up on that, and I'm going to do that inside because it's not very nice outside today. We'll get into that during the tour. So Garden Stroll coming up here in 4 to 5 minutes, I would say. Okay, three things. First of all, 5 minutes from the Cleveland Clinic, University Circle Gardens in Lake Erie, the North Coast Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Lakeview Cemetery is big and beautiful. 2 hours south to Columbus, Ohio's Topiary Park during the summer is beautiful too. Congrats on your puppy, Sue. P.S. Love hearing the lake waves. And Streptocarpus, favorite easy care plant. That's on the cover here. And Sue actually included this article from Ohio Magazine, which I'm very excited to read. Thank you for sending that. That's cool. I want to read all about that. Thank you so much, Sue. Appreciate that. How do envelopes work, Erin? Oh, that was a private one. Oops. Okay, here we go. This is, let me take the sticker off this if I can, because it's ruining the postcard. Post office and their stickers. This is Aranthus winter aconite. One of my favorite bulbs just because it comes up so early and it's so cheery. And you know how that is. If you live in a northern climate where there's nothing to look at all year, like a little something bright in the garden early on is amazing. So this is from Nicole at Nicole's Garden. So, hi Erin, and greetings from North Carolina, Zone 8A. I recently had the opportunity to visit my friend Pam in Chicago and she took me to the Chicago Botanical Gardens. I was in awe of all the garden rooms and plant specimens. I have fallen in love with garden alleys, and this garden has a beautiful linden alley that left me speechless. Aquatic garden was especially beautiful as well. Thank you for sharing your love of gardening with us. And that's from, it's Nichelle, not Nicole. Nichelle's Garden. Thank you, Nichelle. Yeah, the Chicago Botanic Garden is really, really great. I've actually been there. I mean, given that I'm like an hour and a half away from it, I should probably go there more often. I think I've been there 3 times. Once in February, which even in February, it was very interesting with snow on the ground. And in some of like their walled gardens, it was very interesting to see the structure. I mean, obviously it's not the best time to see gardens, but nice to get outside and walk around a little bit. And then I've seen it in June, and I think September was the other time I was there. Anyway, beautiful in all seasons and a really good stop if you're in that area. Okay, let's go for a walk here. I'm gonna tuck my microphone inside though because it is really windy. So today's weather is like a ton of wind, and then we're gonna get rain, sprinkles in the morning, and then starting in the afternoon, a lot of rain that goes through Tuesday, which I am thrilled about. I am so happy. Fall rains just are such a relief. To keep plants watered. You know, I've been going on this forever, and I don't even have it as bad as some of you. I know Delaware and Philadelphia area are insanely dry, so I hope rain is coming to those who need it and not those who don't, because there are some of you who don't need it too. All right, everybody's outside already, so just do that. Okay. I don't know where the little guy is. You guys missed him last week. So we will see him. Here's Dorothy. Everybody's looking pretty scruffy. I'm hoping that there's some time for a bath after things are done today. I have no idea where he must be in the basement. He'll come out, I'm sure. All right, so update. We've had a freeze. Yesterday, it was funny. Yesterday I got this video up. Here, let me turn you around. Yesterday I got this video up, which I had filmed last weekend. And I'm going on about how, oh, we haven't had a freeze yet, but you never know, they could come whenever. And sure enough, Friday night, not predicted at all. I was up at 3:45 with Magnus, and we were outside. And all of a sudden I looked down at the grass, I'm like, that's frosty ice. And then I start looking around, and I'm like, oh, there's been frost. So interesting, it was a light frost, and specific to some areas of the garden. So it's really strange how some parts are looking much different than others. But a lot of the dahlias got nicked, and the bananas did, and a few other things. Some other stuff seems to show no signs of any problem at all. So things are looking very autumnal here all of a sudden. Obviously you can see, like, here's some dahlias that got nipped, and I did start digging yesterday. We're going to continue with that today, hoping to get a lot of that done before the rain comes. I think I don't know if I pointed this out, but star of the show in the garden right now is clearly Amsonia hubrectii. Arkansas blue star, I believe, is the common name for this. Look, and it's so pretty because it just happens to be against this kind of purpley foliage of the tiny tough stuff hydrangeas, which is something that happens late in the season. That's fall color. That's not what it's like in summer. But anyway, look at how beautiful that looks. If you can't, someone told me they were having a hard time finding just straight Amsonia hubrectii. There's a whole bunch of cultivars out there now, including string theory, and I'll show you that later on, which I don't feel like it's as good a color. I just think it's going to get better color later. So string theory is a proven winners one, so maybe that's easier to find for some people. Let's go this way. I guess, things are starting to look real ratty in the garden because obviously that's not a great look for a plant. More cutting back has happened. Basically just hostas. I don't think anything else has been cut back other than hostas, but you can see, like, it creates big spaces in the garden, obviously, when you have big hostas. Yeah, see, I still have this Stromanthe triloba here that I've been deciding whether I'm going to bring it in or not. And that obviously wasn't hit by frost, and you would think that would be quite frost tender. We keep talking about the aster here, and I mean, boy, bang for your buck with that plant. Huge, but bang for your buck with that plant. Big time. Magnus, come here. Here we go. Here he comes. Mr. Much More Patient is working on. Hi. Hi. So Magnus is 4 months old now, and probably, we'll weigh him tomorrow. Vet comes tomorrow. We'll weigh him tomorrow, but I'm going to guess he's 45 pounds or so, something like that, which is about right. Growing fast and generally sweet, except like most puppies when he's being nuts, but he's pretty good. The climbing hydrangea is starting to get a little bit of fall color. The one on the other side of the house is getting much better color than this one, and that's always the case. But it does kind of start to get this sort of yellowing, which is nice. I couldn't be happier with how this one has grown in. Planted in 2011. So that's that many years of growth. A little bit of fall color on this viburnum here. And I would say most of the hydrangeas now have pretty much gone fully brown. So we're pretty much done with any good color there. See, now here's a dahlia right here that was not hit. I keep showing you this one, the unnamed one. So pretty. See, when you come around, you can see over here, the color on the climbing hydrangea over here is much better than the one on the garage. Probably just an exposure thing, I would guess. This ginkgo is certainly, I think it's Goldspire. I talk about this in the video that I posted yesterday. What pretty color on this. But you know how, if you're not familiar with ginkgos, basically they turn gorgeous yellow, and then all of a sudden you turn around and every single leaf falls at one time, which if you don't like cleaning up leaves is probably pretty nice. As in case you haven't seen that video or you don't know about this plant, this is supposed to be a tall, skinny ginkgo. But years ago, we had a tree growing right over there, and when they took it down, they dropped it. And this happened to be a very small, probably 2 or 3 foot tall tree at the time, and they broke the leader. So over here, this is sort of the leader that I tried to establish, but it got so tall I couldn't keep a leader going. So it's essentially a shrub form now. So someday some creative pruning might get involved in that. It is kind of weird that leader it's very obviously a leader that's leaning this way. I don't know what else to do with it. A lot of leaves fell this week. As you can see, I was trying to get some out of the beds. I'm trying not to overload the beds with leaves this year because of my jumping worm situation, but we won't throw these leaves away. All these leaves will go to good use being composted, but I'm just trying to pull. I don't want tons of leaves sitting in the beds this year. That's just that's a new thing for me, but just something I'm doing because of my jumping worm issue. Castor bean seems totally fine post-frost, whereas the mahogany splendor hibiscus, not so much. I did start pulling, of course, the begonias and the coleus that I had over in this section were, they get nipped by the least bit of frost, and so they were really wretched looking. So I pulled them. But look at here. This is the Wild Magic basil. This basil is known to be hardier than most other basils. So all my other basils are shot. But this one, still looking good. And although I don't eat this one, it is totally edible. Got my piles of dahlias starting to come together there. Now, I just want to come over here because I noticed that the viburnum lost its leaves. So now we can get a really good look at the nest that was in here. And this is impressive. Let me kind of see if I can move the camera in there so we can look down on it. This was the, what was I'm trying to think what the name of this bird was that sort of tormented me. Kind of a cool bird, very protective of their nest. We could not come near this plant for a while. That is a very sturdy nest built of sticks. I like seeing the nests. It's always fun when the leaves drop and the nests start emerging. We actually lost 2 trees on the property line, fell into our neighbor's yard, so we had to go over there yesterday to clean those up. And there was a huge squirrel nest that had fallen out of one of them. It did not seem to be occupied, but I guess squirrels would be smart enough to get out of Dodge. So you can see the maple here lost. It's a good thing we put the drone up last week because, like I said, the fall color did go away rather quickly. So, notable things as I look around this garden and I look at what is looking good in fall. Certainly the Hackle and Cloa looks phenomenal. You can see that the Hackle and Cloa macro, so this is the species, so this is starting to yellow, and it does turn the most gorgeous, absolutely most gorgeous golden yellow color. And of course it gets this great movement on it. I think somebody said one of the comments was that someone didn't really like grasses, but they were getting a soft spot for this Hackle and Cloa, and as you should. Now this Hackle and Cloa macra is the species, and then we have there's way more varieties than that. This is just the varieties I have. This is Aureola, which is a very common variegated one. And then over there is All Gold, which is also very commonly found. So in terms of size of these 3, All Gold will be the shortest. Aureola will be the next height. And then you can see that macra gets, in my yard, it's when it's standing upright, it's certainly 3 feet. It's probably approaching 4 feet in some places. So it's quite a bit larger than the other ones. I've got on my list for spring to divide some of these. These can be divided. Now this garden was planted in 2018. And all these plants, they were gallon pots, 4-inch and gallon pots. And the gallon pots I had divided in 2 at the time of planting. So all of those can be divided, and I do want to move that around. Be great along the stream banks a little bit. So that's where those are going to go. But the time to do that is spring, right when they're starting to come up. So I just have to make a note because it's one of those warm season grass things. Cornus moss, I point it out all the time because it looks good. This is a lilac I planted a couple of years ago. By the way, this is bridal veil spirea, which was here forever. I know people don't like this, but I hate that plant. So I need to cut it back because it's encroaching on my lilac over there. There's another Amsonia. This is one of Brent Horvath's introductions, which obviously has Hubrechtii in it. I can't remember which one this is. But you can see we get the good color on that too. Okay, vegetable garden. Oh, wow. I'm just seeing that the nasturtiums got hit by frost real bad. If messy vegetable gardens trigger you, do not look to what we're about to look at here. But thank God the parsley's still okay because I wanted to cut the parsley and freeze it. Peppers are still okay. Got some peppers I can pick still. But look at this nasturtium. It's interesting. Some of the nasturtiums are fine and some other ones are just kaput. Very interesting. I don't know if that's a variety thing or if that's more, I would assume it's more likely the space. Hey, let's talk about potatoes. So not to ruin the surprise for you, but in my video that I posted yesterday, right at the beginning, I show a little clip of me saying, this is my biggest garden fail ever. And then you have to stick around a little bit to find out what it is because I got to keep you guys interested. But you should go watch that video, please. But I had no sweet potatoes. And you smarty pants, all you guys are so smart. Hang on, I'm pulling out a tree out of there. You guys are so smart. Yeah, that's because I had way too rich a soil in here. And, well, someone pointed out, I think that's what it is. It makes perfect sense. And I had actually really topped this bed off with Organic Mechanics planting compost. Plus, these were the tomato beds last year. So these two beds were, I fertilized the tomatoes more than I fertilized anything else in this garden. So the year where the tomatoes have been the year before, that soil is clearly going to be richer just going into the season than anything else. So there you go. And potatoes, they don't want nitrogen because they grow, nitrogen creates leaves and you get big, healthy, leafy plants. And I should know this because it's no different from growing a dahlia, but whatever. But so you want potassium. Potassium is what grows roots. So if I were doing this right, it would have been in less rich soil, or I could have used a fertilizer high in potassium. Anyway, I'm 100% sure that many of you pointed that out. You are absolutely right, I'm sure. We do have some crab apples on the Royal Raindrops. Not a ton, but they're real cute little guys. By the way, this is the alyssum. You're not looking at the weeds right now. This is the alyssum that I grew from seed. And look at how great it's looking. It's just, alyssum loves some cool weather, clearly. And it's just looking amazing. Garlic bed here. My mom told me that her garlic was up several inches, but no sign of mine coming up, which is, I would prefer it that way, to be honest. It's fine. Either way, it's fine. Okay, that's the vegetable garden. Oh, look, the celery is resprouting, which I'm not surprised at, except that it's a little cold. I didn't think it would do it when it was so cold. Okay. Stroll this way. It's always amazing how, perennials just surprise me with what they can put on for fall color. This is a mostly green garden, but when you look at it, you get some really nice, there's oranges in there, and there's certainly some yellows. Everything over here is still fine. I'm sure it's because it's underneath this tree. So I'm still deciding if I want to take some cuttings of that Tradescantia or not. I probably don't. I think it's going to be easy enough to find next year that I don't need to nurse anything more. Here's a beautiful view here with that gorgeous yellow ginkgo, and then we get the really pretty color on the climbing hydrangea there. Not a lot of color change on the Glow Girl spireas. I was expecting them to go full on orange. They just kind of lost their leaves. I'm looking at these and thinking I probably need to do some rejuvenation pruning and take some of those stems all the way down to the ground to get some new growth coming in there. So the lawn is a mess because like I said, I'm trying to get some of these leaves out of beds so that we can collect the leaves. This maple that you see right here was planted as a bare root, oh God, only maybe 4 years ago, and it has really taken off. It's very pretty. It's one of the newer cultivars. It might even be, I don't want to take a guess at what it is, but it certainly has some glorious color to it. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with this clematis. This is a 12 violet, one of my top 5s for sure. And probably what I'm going to do, because I like the railings clear for winter, but I feel like I don't really want to cut it back now. I think it's better to let it sit. So I'm going to actually, I think, just slice it up the center, and then I'm just going to sort of make a little pool at the bottom, although I see that a lot of the stems have already been eaten off by rabbits. Well, if there's anything left attached, I will do that. If it's already been pruned by the rabbits, then there's no point in doing that. Oh, I wanted to show you the window box. We have another ginkgo up here, too. Oh, here's a foxglove blooming. That's Dalmatian peach. I'll take it. Oh, and there's something else I wanted to show you guys. Hold on, I'm going to have to set up the tripod for this. Because you're not, well, I can't believe this. Oh, look at this sweet, sweet treat here. Sweet peas. And, okay, you know how they say that your olfactory system is like most connected to memory of all your senses? And I mean, certainly I believe that to be true, but smelling these right now it literally is like going back to spring. It's so amazing. So they kind of fell off the little trellis that I was growing them up there. So I just looked back there the other day and saw these. And because those vines are still alive, the rest of them were pulled ages ago. Oh, I wish you guys could smell these because this is something. Let me get Magnus. He must be in the house. Magnus, come here. Come here. Come up here. Hi. Come here. Can you come up higher? Come here. Come on. Oh, there you go. Turn this way. Okay. Here's a little guy. He's pretty sweet. He is looking scruffy as heck. He's getting a bath later today. And it's nice because it only takes about an hour to give him a bath because this puppy fur dries pretty quick. Dorothy takes like 4 hours. She also needs one, but we'll see how long it rains. So that's a special close-up view, especially for Mark, who maybe wants to see a little bit more Magnus. All right, that's it. I mean, we're big time winding down. Oh, he's chewing on the tripod. Careful, don't fall, don't fall. Okay, we're in big time wind down mode. You know how that goes. As soon as you get a frost, it's kind of a foregone conclusion of what's going to go. So even the things that are looking good now, I feel like, which I still haven't shown you the window box. I feel like even the things that are looking good now, you're like, let's just get going on the cleanup. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I do feel good because I feel like our weather is such that I know I have at least one more week. Now, that said, I still haven't shut off the water to the window box because it is still looking so good. I mean, actually, I think it looks even better now that the Fiona Sunrise is turned that really nice golden yellow color. I mean, and everything, I've done zero in the way of grooming here, but like, look, even the Superbina is getting some more, has some buds. I mean, it's hard to willfully turn that off. All right, well, there you go. That is the quick garden stroll. A lot of people have been asking what I'm going to do about a garden stroll in winter. I don't know if you have ideas of what we should be doing, because I'm probably not going to be, there's not going to be a lot to stroll around and look at. I mean, at least every week. So if you got ideas about what you'd like to do during this time, I'm happy to hear them. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone, for all of your really, really good comments. I saw in another video, I saw someone make a comment about something they had done, or a suggestion, or something that worked for them. I forget what it was. And the next comment after that was another person saying, I always come and read the comments because so many people have such good information and suggestions here. And I couldn't agree more. You're all very insightful, very smart gardeners with good suggestions, good ideas, your own takes on things. I really appreciate the comment section, so thank you all for that. All right, I'm going to go get working on what's happening in the garden here today before it rains, because I am not standing out in the rain digging dahlias today. So I hope you are having a great day in your garden. More videos coming up this week, and we will see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.